Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our evening oblation where I will be dispensing wisdom to whoever cares. So, if you have a room, you are thirsty enough to create a room for wisdom, kindly be with me for the next few minutes where I seek to talk about 6 things that you should not live in, live by, or live with. First and foremost, you should never live in fear. People who live in fear tend to die before their time. Fear will send you to an early grave, and if it doesn't, it will make you live running and running and running from what you cannot tell. The greatest form of fear is the fear of the unknown. You are running, but you cannot tell what is chasing you. The Bible records that we have not received the spirit of fear, but we have received from God the spirit of adoption, the spirit of sound mind, soundness of mind. A sound mind will help you not to live in fear, but live in confidence. A sound mind has a form of assurance. And it is important, therefore, to realize that there is a place where we can hide. We can hide ourselves and be confident that things will be all right. And that is in our God. The Bible says that the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run unto it and they are safe. And as Jerusalem is surrounded by mountains, the Lord surrounds his own now and forever. Number 2, try as much as possible not to live in doubts. Do not always cast doubts on all things. Now, people who live in doubts may probably have had disturbing childhood, and growing up, they might have faced some form of trauma that could have cast them into low self-esteem, and therefore they still have trust issues, insecurities that make them cast doubts on all things. But you need to realize that life is a form of a risk that we take every day. And people who cast doubts on all things, trust you me, they may never take any risk. And if you cannot take a risk in your life, you might never change your life. You must avoid casting doubts on all things. Number 3, try as much as possible as you can to avoid living in denial. People who live in denial are actually in depression because they avoid facing realities. They avoid facing realities. And as long as you cannot face the ugliness in your life, you might never change your life. You may live running and running away from yourself to the point where you go down and down into some form of a bottomless pit, and you might never, ever amount to anything. People grow when they decide to face their fears, face their ugliness, face the shame. If you want to change your life, you must be willing to undress and face that shame of nudity as you seek to remove that gown of shame and wear another gown of glory by undoing what needs to be undone. Number 4, avoid living in assumptions. You may cast assumptions with yourself, but please do not cast assumptions on other people. Casting assumptions on people will make you to make and gauge wrong judgments on other people. And as a result, frictions left, right, and center. You are always locking horns with other people. Everything you do, everywhere you go, everyone you interact with, you are always in fights. Fightings within, fightings without is characteristic of people who live in assumptions. Number 5, try as much as you can to avoid living in wishes. I tend, and you will agree with me, that living in wishes is living an empty life, a life of emptiness, because with wishes, there is no reality in that. There is no reality. It's a life of daydreaming. You are always daydreaming. People who live in wishes can never appreciate humble beginnings. They cannot appreciate every big, tall tree began as a small seed that germinated into a small seedlings, and growth over a period of time, give time an opportunity to take that small reality and grow it into something big. But with wishful thinking and wishes, you can never amount to anything, because it's all lies, lies, lies. And lastly, my friends, try as much as you can to avoid living a life of regrets. Now, I know most of us have made mistakes. We have made serious mistakes, and if we do not do something, we might end up plunging and drowning in regrets. So how do we go about it? The life of fear, the life of doubt, the life of denial, wishes, doubts, and assumptions, let's try as much as we can to undo that needs to be undone, to face realities that we need to face ugliness that we need to face. The Swahili people say, maji ukiyavulia shati uyaoge. So there is a need to kuyavulia maji, because for you to be clean, you have to undress and face it. Face it up. Face it up. This life is not for the cowards. It is for the people that are willing to face it all. This life is for people who are willing to take risks. I hope and trust that somebody has picked something from our oblation. Up to the next broadcast rather, up to the next oblation. God bless you and be with you. Thank you.